Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Lada from Astrolada.com, and thank you so much for joining me for this live forecast for January 2017. And in a little bit, Trifon Nikolov, Vedic Astrologer, will join me to make the forecast for January 2017. He was away for a little bit, but he's back with his monthly Vedic astrology, ancient Babylonian and Vedic astrology predictions. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about the year 2016 and the year 2017 generally. I want to reminisce a little bit about 2016. I want to spend some time with you because I've been missing off air a little bit, and I intend in 2017, that's my New Year's resolution, to spend more time personally with you, hopefully weekly, to do lives, to have Q&A, to allow you to enter into my private life as well, ask me private questions, talk about astrology, talk about personal questions as well, discuss even personal horoscopes on the camera. If those of you who don't mind being, dissected on the camera. And 2017 again, together with my partner Lauren, we decided that I'll be giving each week, hopefully each week if I can, a free reading for anyone who watches my weekly horoscopes and shares them on Facebook. And it will be like 5-10 minute reading that I do, but each one of you who shares, not each one of you each week will be able to win a 5-10 minute reading with me, recorded one. So I intend to be present and in your face 2017 a lot more, because 2016 was tumultuous, amazing and tumultuous for me. I had to be a little bit off screen. And, everyone's been saying, I can't wait for 2016 to finish, fuck off 2016 or whatever. But, we had a lot of difficult configurations 2016 as a year. And you see it even around the world with so many terrorists, whatever, cataclysms that happen and attacks, and so many personal crises and reversals in people's lives as well. It's just one of those years, that there were too many astrological factors coming together. But actually, it was also one of the most miraculous years I've seen in the life of others. So it's kind of, that was the irony of 2016. It created a lot of drama, and it created a lot of reversals in people's lives and sudden unexpected changes. It's just been around me and all the clients. It's unprecedented since I've been working for 6-7 years, with clients nonstop. 2016, I think, was the most intense year. But at the same time, it brought the biggest breakthroughs in many people's lives. It's so interesting how it played out. It's almost like it was an evolutionary push from the planets, because they were in difficult configurations, Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn and Mars and Neptune. We had quite big players clashing together with disharmonious aspects, as we call them in astrology. But indeed, it created and provoked a lot of changes in people's life, a lot of surprises, a lot of stresses and tests and realizations, and on political level, on spiritual level, on social level, on personal level, on relationship level, on all levels in life. It manifested in 2016. But at the same time, I also saw the biggest breakthrough psychologically, financially, in many people's lives. For me personally, that was the most difficult and the most rewarding year ever in my life. It was the year that changed my life around, and at the same time helped me find something that I've been dreaming since childhood, and that was the surprise of 2016. It took us to such an extreme, and it changed our lives, to many of us, to such an extreme. But at the same time, it brought us amazing changes in life, which we'll remember all our life. But it was still challenging on an emotional level. And actually, numerologically speaking, 2016, when you put the letters together, the numbers together, 2 + 0 + 1 + 6 makes the number 9. So numerologically speaking, The number 9 is one of completions, of endings. Was one of that's why there was so many, almost like we were seeing the results of our efforts for many years. That was personally for me as well. It was my personal year 9 as well. But on general, on the whole scale of humanity, there were lots of completions, lots of things that come to the surface that, you know, when you finish a cycle, the number 9 is a cycle, ending of a cycle numerologically. When you finish a cycle, a lot of things come to the surface, they become clear to you, so you can let them go. So a lot of people also have to let go of things from their life, to release them. And you can make, like, compare 2007 was also number 9. Of course, astrologically, the energies were not the same, but still, it was, you know, maybe think back to 2007. What happened? Did you know, did you have to let go? But personally, and not only personally, but for the whole world, the year 2017 is number 1. When you put 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7, it makes 10, which is number 1. So it's a year of absolutely new beginnings, powerful new beginnings around the world. And for in your life as well, anyone who will be supported who wants to start new things. 2016, we're clearing things off from the past. We were letting go of things. We were realizing things that, you know, that we've been hiding from ourselves, so that, you know, that were not accessible to us. And also with the Neptune Saturn opposition, no, it was square. A lot of truth came to the surface. There was a lot of disillusionment, especially with politics, with the ruling classes, with reality around us, and on a personal level. It was a tough year because we, almost like a reality check we had. We, whatever our misguided beliefs or self-deceptions were, a lot of them came to the surface, and a lot of them had to be, you know, released. And it's disappointing sometimes, but that's what the energy was about. So every cloud has a silver lining. That's why I'm so grateful for 2016. But 2017 is new beginning. It's fresh. It's exciting. It's also the year of the fire rooster, which corresponds with fire energy. So the fire signs, if you have Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they'll be very much supported in 2017. And the number 2017, it goes to 1, which is again very fiery, new beginnings, new starts, new enthusiasm. So that's an amazing year to take up new exercises, new diet, something that actually gonna stick for at least 9 years. Whatever you started on the year 1, you continue with it for long periods after that, because you have the push, the drive. And if you start new businesses or anything like that during year 1, it kind of you break through easier. You almost like your energy is focused like a laser, and you can move forward. And you can also calculate how this year affects you personally by adding the number 1 of this year to your day of birth and a month. So like I'm 14th of April, so 1 plus 4 is 5, and April is 4, 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So again, personally for me, it's year number 1. That's numerology, but still it's good to combine all of them to see the whole picture. But even if it's for you, it's year 2, 3, whatever, on the general scale, 2017 is number 1, supportive of new beginnings, supportive of new way of perceiving the world. There will be a lot of new political systems, new organizations, new movements that happen. I even mentioned that because Jupiter is receiving a square from Pluto and opposition from Uranus, there will be change in money systems this year, because Jupiter rules abundance and financial institutions. So there will be redistribution of wealth on a big scale. And it can be positive, you know, like people that haven't always been on a lower scale can all of a sudden make lots of money. Or it can be like money is redistributed towards the rich again, you know, or like already it started happening in India. The monetary system, if you know, was actually changed. And I believe there will be such monetary changes of the currencies, and there will be ups and downs and fluctuations in currencies, because it's a year for redistribution of wealth in a big way. So if you can put your savings, I would advise you 2017 and 2018 as well. If you can put your savings in something that doesn't change value, if you can invest it in something, I personally advise you to do that. Actually, a very famous Russian astrologer, Levin, I think, no, forgot his name, sorry about that, but I follow Russian astrologers because they're amazing. They, he predicted the fall of the Soviet Union, and he predicted the 2007 and 2008 financial crisis. So, and he said the dollar will be destabilized 2017 and 18. It's going to lose a lot of its value. It's not my prediction. I told you I'm not a world predictor. I find it, I haven't worked with that. That's a specific area of astrology. I'm just giving the prediction of an astrologer I respect a lot, who's been able to predict a lot of events. And he said currencies will be destabilized. So he says, especially the dollar. And maybe that coincides with the eclipse over the whole of America, which the last time an eclipse that was seen over the whole of USA happened 2000 and not 2017 something. I think it was the revolution, one of the Civil War, basically. That's when there was a huge eclipse over America. I'm not saying America will lose it or become, there will be a big new beginning for America, but this can destabilize currencies. So I'm just giving advice from what I research and what I've read, because I'm constantly rummaging through predictions of astrologers. As I said, I don't do world predictions. It's something you have to study for years and years. I do personal predictions. That's my specialty. But what I found out from astrologers is that they advise about that for the currency, redistribution of wealth. So I'm just translating and giving you the words of astrology from around the world. If possible, invest your money somehow, if possible, so it's not just on paper, because if the value changes, you don't want to be losing that, and they say about 2007, 2018, but at the same time, this is a year when people can suddenly become very rich or start new beginnings again, as I said, because of its energy of drive, of one, of, piercing through barriers in a big way. And the fire rooster, it's super energetic, But actually, astrologically speaking, it will be easier than 2016, at least according to me, because there is Jupiter and Saturn in 2000, the two planets of fate, the fulfillers of fate, were in a stressful aspect. So then society on the whole is much more stressed under pressure. But this year, Jupiter and Saturn will be in a harmonious aspect, and Uranus will also get involved in that configuration. So while 2016 we had Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune in difficult configuration, four major players stressing us, so many planets, and Mars was retrograde, and and the North Node was together with Jupiter, so lots of tense aspects. But 2016, even the tense aspects to Jupiter by Saturn, by Uranus and Pluto that are happening, they are strengthened and they're stabilized by supportive aspect from Saturn. So even if things get, will be pushed into change, for certain there will be changes, but they'll happen somehow more smoothly. We'll be able to implant positive material and social results for the long term through those changes. So I don't want you to be scared. 2017 is much more positive. It's much more easier to navigate. You always somehow get the support, because Saturn, the body, is actually supporting the stressful configurations, that it's alleviating the pressure and the tension from those stressful combinations between Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto. And it's stabilizing the whole situation. And as I said, most of the year 2017, Uranus and Saturn will be in a trine aspect, very harmonious. So all the new, Uranus is something new, Saturn is something old structures, stability. They're harmonizing well. New things are coming, but we're building upon the old rather than totally demolishing the old, or the old structures colliding with the new ideas. They're not They find the consensus and resolution. And according to tropical Western astrology, Jupiter is in Libra. Jupiter is a great benefic, and Libra is the sign of agreements, of finding, of agreeing, of compromising. So we'll be able to find some compromise. And speaking about Uranus, it started moving direct, by the way, just last week. And I'm doing on Sunday, on the 8th of January, the moment Mercury also starts turning forward, I'm doing a webinar on all about Uranus. By the way, guys, those of you who subscribe and come to the webinar and buy it before the 8th of January, they're getting it at a lesser price, because after that it becomes up with 30%. So if you want to understand everything about Uranus in your personal horoscope, where you can have breakthroughs in your life, because Uranus allows breakthroughs, Uranus allows progressive, fast movement forward. Uranus is the place where when we're stuck, if we know where it's in our horoscope, how to we go and do something in regards to that area of our life, and we get unstuck, because Uranus is the planet of progress. And we're going to look at Uranus at relationships, how two people, if they have Uranus sinistrine aspects, what it means. We're going to look at Uranus in transit, what it means. We're going to look at Uranus in aspects in the birth chart, like someone who has Venus Uranus will always fall in love suddenly and break up suddenly, and we'll have unusual relationships, on and off relationships. So, you know, we'll speak about all of those things. So come and join me. I think that's the first out of 3 webinars that I'll do once a month, all about Uranus, all about Neptune, all about Pluto. The outer planets are the ones that actually make the biggest psychological changes emotionally. And these are the most interesting planets for me. Nothing is as exciting and nothing really changes properly in life unless there is an outer planet transit or a phase that you're in your life. So we're going to speak about all of that. So come join me. It's only $29. We're going to be speaking probably 5-6 hours about that. We're giving you multiple examples, very easy to understand. Enough promotions. Now, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that actually we had so many emails asking us to prolong the sales for the holidays, because they say, oh, we want to know how our money will be. So we're extending the sales of the holiday sales to the end of January. So a lot of courses are reduced. But the Uranus course goes up after the 8th of January, because it's a new course. So if you come before the 8th of January, if you order it, you'll get it at a reduced price. Anyway, so yeah, and Mike and Ratko and Mike, you love them, are continuing to do their 10 minutes extra time. If you order a reading with them, again, 10 minutes on top. So we continue in a festive mood, because I'm so excited about 2017. It's so much more supportive, I believe. It's so much more, you know, and we did with Marina yearly forecast for each the planets, for each the signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and we speak in each forecast how this Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus combination, which is harmonious, is going to play out, and how it's going to help each sign. So if you want more specific sign by sign predictions, check out the yearly horoscopes, guys. And also we have this calendar for 2017, which we sold hundreds and hundreds of copies of. People are loving it. It's 83 pages. It's 2 calendars, but with lots of back pages where you can have day-by-day prognosis of what 2017 will bring, what transits are happening, new lunations, when the planets are visible, when they're invisible, what you can do, what you should avoid doing. And yeah, so in a little bit, I'm going to invite Trifon Nikolov. He's getting excited to speak about January, to tell us how the first month of the year will be happening. And I just wanted to give you the heads up for 2017 and to tell you it's not going to be as hard as 2016. It's going to allow us to have new beginnings and breakthroughs, but in a more harmonious way. And it's going to be personally very supportive, especially to people that have fire and air signs in their horoscope. Even one planet, even your Venus or Mercury being in the fire or air signs, or your ascendant or moon or sun, will be strongly supported. By the way, signs that will be strongly supported this year will be Gemini and Aquarius. Why is that? Because both Jupiter and Saturn aspect them with a special ancient aspect. I'm not going to explain how it works, but Jupiter has a trinal aspect that's 100%, and Saturn has a sextile aspect that's 100%, and they're both aspecting Aquarius and Gemini. So people with Aquarius and Gemini, and I would say also Libras, will be strongly supported because Jupiter is in their signs. So the air signs get to benefit a lot 2017, but also the fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And if you have no fire in your horoscope, don't worry, 2018 will be your year after that, because then the planets of fate, and which make things happen, which make fated things happen, Saturn and Jupiter, are moving both into water and earth signs from 2018. But the really happening new beginnings somehow come for the fiery signs, or whatever fire and air houses you have in your horoscope. For example, I might be Cancer ascendant with Virgo sun, with moon in Capricorn, so no fire, but I will have somewhere the houses of fire and the houses of air. So for example, for Cancer, that would be my 12th and 8th and 4th house, that are air houses, and the fire houses will be my 2nd, 10th, and 6th houses. So those will be positively affected, which means like emotionally, and materially. The fire houses for Cancer or for the water signs is material, give material results, while the air, where the air planets are, the air signs for the water signs will be give emotional support. But anyway, you can watch month by month prediction from my monthly horoscopes with Marina. We speak there. And yeah, so 2017, much better. Celebrities will continue to... Someone asked me, why so many celebrities died in 2016? King, Prince, like, why is that? Well, because, constellational astrology, which predicts big cycles and humans' history, there were eclipses 2016, starting actually from the autumn of 2015 already. The North Node went into the constellation of Leo, the king, the celebrity fame. And all the eclipses, most of the eclipses in 2016 happened in the constellation of Leo, the king, celebrity. That's why Prince, like kings of music and pop and and George Michael and, my God, how many, David Bowie, and Princess Leia, kind of, not literal royalties, but famous Leo, royalties in our culture, in a sense, when eclipses start happening in the constellation of Leo. And there will be a few more eclipses in the constellation of Leo till the start of the autumn in 2017. So more such kind of shattering surprises can come around celebrities. And so kind of, it's not on a personal level, on a world level, but the eclipses in the constellation of Leo continue. And kind of kingly royal figures will continue to be, under, the eclipse is what? Something is eclipsed out of existence. But anyway, still 2017 is much more easier astrologically on a personal level than 2016. And of course, for everyone, you need to look at your horoscope specifically. You can't say, for everyone it's going to be a great year, but definitely, even when things get hard, there will be some support coming from somewhere, something to stabilize you, something to give you helping hand. And yeah, so now let's see what January will bring. Here is the link. I'm sending it to Trifon. Hi. Here is the link. So we're going to wait for him to join us. I think he's going to tell us what January 2017 will be from the Vedic perspective. And of course, the end of this week, the first week of January, Mercury is turning direct until the end of the month. Absolutely all the planets are moving direct. For a very rare opportunity, this happens very rarely, that all the planets are moving direct. It's almost like you'd feel like the new year begins. Still, something is holding us a little bit back because Mercury is moving backwards. But within a week from now, guys, you'll start feeling like move forward, take over, new beginnings. Yes, in the spring, there'll be lots of retrograde planets, but we'll speak about that when we get to spring. Hi, Trifon. Happy New Year.
Hi, Trifon. Hi, Lada. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Do you have good news for us? Please have good news for us for January 2017.
Yes, there are. There are good news, and in general, this is the entrance of Venus in the constellation of Pisces in the end of the month.
Oh, yes. It gets very strong there.
Yes, she will be there for 4 months.
I want you to speak a little bit about a very rare thing that we've been observing for a month now. Venus is visible during the day. You even wrote an article about that. Can you tell us why this is so rare and what it means?
Okay. Many astrologers doesn't know even that this is happening. Venus now is very close to the Earth, and because of this, she has very bright light. And
so
exactly this situation is happening only once in her cycle of 8 years. So only once in 8 years, in the end of the year, you can watch her dance in the sky in the day.
So while the sun is out, you also see Venus, like the only star you can see during the day.
Yes, you can see her around 4 p.m. When she's culminating. So,
what does it mean?
There is an ancient sign, an omen on clay tablet from Sumer, preserved, that is saying what is the meaning of Venus in the day. And the text is that when Venus is seen in the day, the wives don't stay with their husbands.
They put on their red lipstick and
yes,
go
one of the reason. Yes, but there is a deeper reason and meaning. So first, Venus is a night planet. She belongs to the group of the planets of the night. Those are the planets Moon, Mars, and Venus.
Yeah.
And so Venus is also representing the young wives, of course. And when she is seen in the day, which is not very good about her nature as a night planet, so she doesn't feel comfortable. And this means that all the young women, they just don't feel well around that time on, for instance, let's say psychological level. And the other thing is that Venus is a planet of the intimate life, of sexuality, and the sexual urge is much stronger around this time. So part of the women can feel it really strong.
That's wonderful. Sexual urges, especially women would feel stronger sexual urges.
Not only women, but especially women, of course.
So women will start chasing men, isn't it? Because Venus becomes more masculine in quality when it's in during the day. Is that
Exactly.
So the sun gives it masculine qualities. So women who are supposed to be receptive and sweet, they take charge. I believe maybe we'll see some powerful women leaders rising, possibly, or powerful women movements in some way, or maybe important women taking charge in some way, and women overall becoming more independent.
Yes, they're trying to be more independent, but at the same times, we have seen throughout this month, when Venus is visible, that the female leaders got more troubles,
Mhm.
more problems, like Angela Merkel in Germany, for
Uh-huh.
instance, and others. But later they can become stronger because of this influence.
Ah, okay. Okay, women power, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And girls, if you like someone, obviously now you're gonna be chasing him. You're gonna be going after him
from a month.
for a month. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very strongly affected the woman part of the humankind, because in the beginning of December, when this started to happen, around this time in the beginning of December was the worst part of Venus in the day, when many women start to feel not so well
Mhm.
psychologically, and later now they must be much more stronger,
Empowered.
independent,
Yeah.
and all the other things that we have mentioned.
Yes. I like that.
So, apart from this, Venus right now is going to enter Pisces in the end of this month, and she will be there for around 4 months until the first day of June.
That's again, guys, I repeat, constellations. We're talking constellations, we're talking Vedic and ancient Babylonian astrology. This is not tropical zodiac, this is sidereal zodiac. Like
Yeah.
the actual stars you see in the sky. You see Venus staying for 4 months, which is super rare in the constellation of Pisces.
Yes, and exactly this will be the time when the female part of all people, they will become more like in their nature, more stronger in any sense. They will feel more love and beauty in their lives, and including on, of course, this is the most important, on spiritual level.
What do you mean? The sexual level is most important. I'm kidding. Is that better period for relationships? Is that going to
Venus,
be a better period for relationships overall? If people meet new relationships while Venus is in the constellation of Pisces over the next 4 months, would that be a better omen for them?
yes, it will be a better time, not in the first month of the entrance, but later when Venus is going towards the middle of the constellation.
Mhm.
Then she will be free of some bad aspects that can happen in the beginning of the sign. You know, the square with Saturn.
With Saturn, it stays for a very long time in a square with Saturn, by the way, when it goes retrograde.
Yes, but she has also a relieving aspect of Jupiter, so it's still very, very strong. Once in 8 years, I can say. This is the strongest Venus from many years.
So everything Venusian will be much strongly supported, which is art and diplomacy and relationships and luxuries and pleasures. What else? Women.
Everything connected with Venus. This is art, this is love, this is beauty, this is peace on every level. And of course, it's the best time for the young and beautiful women.
Well, I'm probably the moon. I'm not young anymore.
Why not? You are, of course.
But yeah, girls, take out your high heels. 2017. And it's the year of the fire rooster, so it's kind of even more empowering. So, but now let's talk about 2000 January. Sorry, I keep distracting. People hate me sometimes. They say, "Stop interrupting Trifon. Want to hear him?" I'm sorry, guys. I'm excited.
Okay, first, today there is again violence in Istanbul, if you heard.
Yeah, 35
Yes,
people.
someone kills 40 people and injured many others. And I checked why it is, just to show. Uh, there was a conjunction of Mars and Saturn in the end of August,
Hmm.
the previous already year.
In the Scorpion.
In Scorpio, yes. And this was happening in the ascendant in Istanbul.
You predicted that it's going to be violent for 2.5 years for Istanbul because the conjunction of Saturn and Mars. You build a chart for each country when it happens every 2.5 years, and if it impacts a strong angle in the chart, this country will be under a lot of stress for 2.5 years.
Yes, exactly. And because the sign of the conjunction is very strong connected with the country, Turkey. Today, I checked why this exactly today this is happening, and I found that Mars was making a square to its position when he was in conjunction with Saturn in August.
It's true. It's at
So
9 degrees
there is
Pisces.
some exact aspect.
Yeah.
So there is a reason why this is happening. This is
So
how
it's
astrology
triggered.
works.
Yeah. So basically, once you have a start of a cycle, you remember the degree, like an aspect between Saturn and Mars conjunction of Jupiter or Saturn. And every time this degree is triggered, something important can happen in regards to that.
Yes, exactly. And exactly this happens today.
Wow. Yeah.
So whatever, Mars will be going in the next sign in Pisces. So he will be not making any more squares. Still, maybe for 1-2 days, there is a danger still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what a beautiful beginning of the month, so to say. With
In a few days.
Mars aspects. Yes, let's say something better. On 4th of January, the Sun will be making a conjunction with the star of spiritual importance. So this time in the next days, the spiritual energies and mercy and goodness in all mankind will be the prevailing energy.
Good.
And you must know that everybody who are born around the date of 4th of January, they have strong spiritual qualities.
I know one person. Yeah. I know one person.
Then on 7th of January, there will be another interesting aspect. Venus will be making a conjunction with the South Node.
Uh-huh.
So, obviously, this means that there can be some troubles for the female part of the people, but also this is a day when many karmic events connected to it, love can happen, like karmic love can begin for many people throughout
A
the
past life love.
Yes, exactly. Because the South Node represents the energies of the past, and when it is influenced by Venus, it acts like Venus according to the ancient rules.
Ah, okay. What about marriage around that day?
Okay, this is not so much recommended.
Okay. 2 days later?
Let's wait a little bit for 2 months when Venus will be in Pisces. Then will be a better time about this.
2 months?
Yes. So many other things will be happening this month. The full moon will be very interesting. The full moon day, 11th, 12th of January.
Mm-hmm.
The moon will be in the constellation called in India Punarvasu.
Yeah.
And Punarvasu is translated as a return of the light.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know it. Yeah.
So this is again a good sign that the good energies, good people will be more in strength around this time. But again, the aspects of the full moon are very complex, and they are showing that the next 2 weeks in the world will be really complicated in a bad and good way simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, January will be a very interesting and important time of the year.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. When is it? When is the full moon? I'm trying. Where am I? Wait a second.
In my lands, it is 12th of January, but in say it may be in the evening of 11th, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. Can you tell us a few words from Mercury going direct on Sunday, on Monday, the 8th
Yes,
of January?
this is something usual. Many astrologers are talking about Mercury going retrograde and direct, but this is happening 3 times in
A
the year.
year. Yeah.
Yes. This time, Mercury will be under good influences, and his direct motion will be a very good sign for everybody, especially for those who are ruled by Mercury, like having Sun or Ascendant or Moon in the constellations of Virgo and Gemini. So many people will feel that their life is getting better around 8th of January.
Yeah.
So for especially about work, about health, about traveling,
Mm-hmm.
signing new contracts, but also in every other way, depending on what houses Mercury rules in their charts.
Yeah.
And again, let's talk a little bit about the probably some of the most important events in January. You know, it is 20th of January. On that date,
Inauguration.
yes, inauguration. It is supposed that Donald Trump will be in power after this day.
Supposed, you said? What does it mean?
Yes, I am saying so because there are very interesting signs in the chart of the inauguration and in his own chart that he may go through some dangerous days, couple of dangerous days around the day of inauguration.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he has the Saturn opposition Sun and conjunct Moon as well.
Yes, and at the same time, Mars will be squaring his Sun. So it is not so risky to say that he must be much more careful about his health and even for dangers,
Like attacks.
especially around the day of the inauguration and on the day itself.
Wow. What do you think? Oh my God, we'll see how this plays out. I know that a lot of people would be protesting, but you say it's more than people protesting.
Yes, it is more because of obvious astrological reasons. I will not list them right now.
Yeah.
But the sun in every chart when someone is born in the day can represent the vitality of the person.
Yeah.
So, apart from this, the chart of the inauguration holds the aspect of square between Mars and Saturn,
Mm.
which shows that his rulership will be much opposed with a lot of fighting and restraints caused by political powers.
They'll be frustrating him. They'll be blocking him.
Yes, there will be a lot of conflicts.
Well, it's already, yeah, it's already happening, you know. He has.
What?
It's already kind of happening. He's being opposed by a lot.
Yes, but I will tell you something more, and it is connected with the power of a certain fixed star. On the day of the inauguration and in the chart of the inauguration, the moon will be very close to the cusp of the seventh house and in the conjunction with the star of the constellation Northern Corona. Northern Crown in English.
Oh, yeah.
And this is said to be a very beneficial star. And it is representing a crown. And it means that his rulership will be white noted and recognized from many people later. And that good results will follow from it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So after all, after much obstacles and conflicts, he will be able to do a lot of important things that will be recognized from all.
Oh, okay. So he'll have a lot of opposition and a lot of kind of dangers around it. Do you think he's capable of starting like a nuclear war? Like what? That's what people are asking. You see Mars and Saturn and or starting other wars?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
He is not someone who is afraid to lead a war, of course, because he has Mars rising in his chart.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this is his main concern. Let's say again that the chart of the inauguration holds the moon with this beneficial star that is more connected with peace than with war.
So with an iron hand and maybe more kind of in a Mars way, he might scare people off from starting wars.
I just think that the obstacles that he will face are much more connected with the political situation and with the previous ruling powers.
Basically, the Democrats will be opposing and trying to undermine him.
Yes, the traditional powers in the country.
But you think he'll be able to make lots of changes, huh?
Yes, I think he will be successful in many directions.
Are those things that he's gonna do good? Are they gonna benefit the rich or the poor? Because apparently now he's put into his cabinet mostly billionaires and millionaires, and will the poor people and the normal people like us or the American people, would they be able to benefit looking at his inauguration chart or looking at his horoscope or the year ahead overall? Because we know Jupiter is in the constellation of the Virgin, which means workers and people from the working class can benefit in 2017 all over the world. But looking from the inauguration chart, do you think who's going to benefit more, the privileged classes or the less privileged classes, like the normal people?
Okay, I have an answer. Most will benefit the middle class.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
We need the backbone of the middle class.
Yes.
Why is that?
The chart of the inauguration holds the aspect between the moon and Mercury. Mercury represents everything that is in the middle many times. Also, again, his own chart and the transit of this year, they both have Jupiter in the sign of Mercury, Virgo, which is again the same.
Middle class.
Yes. We can say the working class too,
The
which
working
is
class,
towards
yeah.
the middle class.
Okay. And what about, do you think Trump is a misogynist? People are writing, I'm checking the comments, he's a misogynist, whatever they're asking. Does he really hate women? He has Saturn with Venus. Maybe he comes crude towards women.
Interesting. Okay.
They say like
I will answer. Okay, obviously this is not so. He is not hating women because his sun, according to ancient astrology, is in a sign of Venus. So he is not hating them. He must love them, of course.
he loves them in a physical way.
No, not only on physical way.
What about the Venus conjunct Saturn there?
Venus conjunct Saturn does not represent hate. It can represent some disappointment, some sorrow coming from women in his life. The planet that represents hate is Mars, but Mars is not so much connected with his Venus in his chart. On the other hand, the ruler of his ascendant, the Sun, is in Taurus, which is the sign of Venus. So this shows somehow a connection on a spiritual level with women.
Okay. So maybe he's being presented in a much worse light than who he actually is. Many people have strong antipathy towards him because of his bravado and, you know, very macho, bullish behavior. But you're saying that they can be merit that comes from him.
Yes, I don't think so.
People say that you love
Right.
Putin because you're from Eastern Europe.
No.
It's time to go jerk off.
They don't know what is here. We respect women. Yeah. And of course, when someone is acting like a macho or something, this doesn't mean that he is hating women, of course. Much the opposite. When someone is acting like this, he's showing that he has a strong half of male energies, but of course, because of this, he will need female counterpart.
Yeah. Okay, it's at least comforting to hear that you don't think like some big drama will happen, like America collapsing, a third world war happening, people getting robbed and getting poorer than before. You actually
I think that his presidency is very dangerous. Maybe for himself.
For his own life.
We can say even this. Especially this month and in September.
The other eclipse.
Yes.
The eclipse comes on his ascendant. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. It's good to hear that perspective as well. I don't want to meddle in politics, but this is just so...
Let's talk about something else then.
No, I don't want to give personal opinions, but it's just so interesting what's happening in the world now. But at least you're saying that we're safe. It's not going to be a third world war. That's what's important. You don't predict that.
No, I don't think this is...
2016 was tougher, wasn't it? Astrologically speaking, from Vedic perspective, from ancient perspective, constellational, than 2017 will be.
2017, many people, commentators, they say that the previous years was very difficult. They say that 10,000 people died in earthquakes, tsunamis, and many other dangers, and that $200 billion are lost because of such events. And I think that this was because of the influence of Saturn moving through the malefic sign constellation of Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
So a part of this year, this will be again in motion, especially from June until November. So around this time, again, there can be a little bit more difficulties
Mm-hmm.
throughout the world. But on the other hand, there will be in the other months there will be very good influences. So as a whole, this year must be better
Yes,
than the
thanks God.
previous one.
That's what I'm also from looking from Western astrology. That's what I'm also getting as well. And someone asked, any economic recessions?
Okay, the economical development is connected mostly with the aspects between Saturn and Jupiter. And throughout this year, their
In harmonious.
connection will be positive. So, generally speaking, this year is a good one for the world economic.
Wonderful. Someone says, any new breakthrough in medicine? Must be Jupiter in the constellation of the Virgin.
Yes,
You
you're
might
right.
say
Definitely, definitely,
powerful discoveries.
definitely. This will be so. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly because of this, Jupiter will be transiting the sign of Virgo, the constellation of Virgo, and it is strongly connected with healthcare and with herbs and any medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that new medicines will be discovered or old ones will be freed to be used.
Mm-hmm. Like alternative and herbs and
Yes, and the knowledge of the people in the world about the way that medicines works will be widened.
And I just want to mention something because people are saying, oh, the world is going to the juice and everything is falling apart. But actually, guys, there've never been less literacy. Only 100 years ago, people were dying the most from the flu. There were child mortality was, it's never been lesser than nowadays. Child mortality, it's never been less wars and victims of wars. Even in the 70s and up to the 80s, there were much more wars than are currently happening. So I want to give you a bit more positive way to think. Yes, the news is scary. Uh, uh, there's been a lot of kind of terrorist attacks and whatever, and instability about the markets and fears. But actually, the world has never been richer. The world has never been, children and people on the whole have never been better educated, more literate. Less and less people are dying from hunger, and it's overall it's a progressive. It's been progressing. Generally, just go back 100 years ago, people were dying out of lack of vitamins, like normal nutrition, and out of lack of hygiene and poverty and out of ignorance as well. So guys, we are, despite of the difficult years, we had a couple of difficult years especially, and before that was of course the economic crisis that hit us. Despite of that, the world is getting better and better, so try and look at it uh, positively, because we're progressing. Consciousness is rising up, and people, uh, no matter what the elites are trying to do or control us, consciousness of the normal people is rising, and we're helping each other, and we're helping ourselves as well. The universe, the angelic beings that are taking care of us. I don't know, maybe it's a bit too far-fetched for you, Trifon, but they are, for me, beings far more advanced than us, that are leading the, how do I say, the history of humanity. And I do believe that despite all those shakeups and scary things that are happening, they're progressively taking us up and higher. I just wanted to make a bigger, people become more aware of the bigger picture, despite of the few hard years we've been having recently, that it's still progressing. And actually, even they said 2016, the polar cap started and the ozone layer started fixing itself and getting better. I don't know if that's true. Trifon made a prediction for us that the next 6 years very likely will be much colder than before. So maybe the North Pole and the South Pole will freeze up again a bit because Saturn is rising in the winter, becoming visible. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, exactly.
And it's true. Honestly, the winters everywhere around the world this year has been colder than any other year people remember recently.
Yes, and in the next years it will continue to be so. Because Saturn will be still moving in those signs that are part of the path of the sun in the winter.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
On every 30 years, this is happening again and again. Now it's happening again. If you remember, before around 25 years, for instance, there was a lot of cold winters. And this is again here now.
I don't remember 25 years
Okay. Someone will. And of course, not on the equator.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good. That's good for the, because they've been scaring us with global warming. If anything, it's been getting colder. But that's good. We're getting colder. We're getting the winters, hopefully will.
Yes. This is also connected with the cycles of the sun.
Yeah. And it's lower. It's one at its lowest, isn't it now? The cycle of the sun.
Yes, they are expecting that his temperature will be not so high, which will affect.
Like a mini ice age.
Not so much.
I wanted to grow tomatoes in the garden, and now in the next few years might be hard to. But so, do we have something more happening in January?
Yes, there are a lot of aspects that will happen. The especially important ones are the squares with Saturn, especially Mars with Saturn on the day of the inauguration, and a few days later, on 27th of January, Venus with Saturn. So generally speaking, these are bad days. Not good for new beginnings of any kind.
So stay out at the end from the 20th to the end of the month, basically.
Yes. Be more careful around that time, because many people who are ruled by those planets, especially Mars and Venus, which is about 1/4 of all the people.
Yeah.
They can experience some bad days.
Scorpion, Aries.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not something that was not happening in the past, but in any case.
Yeah, it happens 4 times every 2.5 years. Within 2.5 years.
Let's say that when Venus will be in square with Saturn, it is again possible that some important person from the world of art can pass away because of this aspect.
Yeah. Oh, well, but it's gonna be like, it's gonna stay like for 15 days or 20 days in April, by the way, this aspect, and part of most of April, Venus is gonna square Saturn within 1 degree when it's turning direct.
What can I say?
Yeah, there'll be people of art that, okay.
Yes, let's say something positive for the year. In September, Jupiter will be making a conjunction with some important stars and will be entering such signs that will give more peace and harmony in the
Jupiter is
world.
going through over Spica, isn't it? In September.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
over Spica, and also he will be in conjunction with the projection of the star Arcturus.
oh yeah. They're both, guys, if you've taken Trifon Nikolov's course on fixed stars, which is only $100, it's amazing because it teaches you what each star is according to Hermes. The ancient texts that were found recently were translated. So that's proper old school astrology. The inventors of astrology were like Hermes and, the semi-gods, semi-humans. And that's an amazing course where he teaches about the meaning of each fixed star and what it means if you have it in your horoscope. You might be spiritually gifted, you might be artistically gifted, you might be someone who has to start wars, or, these are the ones that show amazing mission in your life. But anyway.
Yes, and its influence, Jupiter staying there, will give more opportunities and much more peace in the countries of the Middle East, like Egypt and Syria. So this will be a good news towards the end of this year.
Okay. Just a sec, I'm just answering some people. They're asking, hasn't Saturn left Scorpio already, but we're talking constellations here.
Yes, when we're talking about Saturn in Scorpio, we mean that he is moving through the stars of Scorpio, which is the way astrology looks at the things in the antiquity and in today's India.
And the stars are the visible things in the sky, so those transits will indicate something that visibly manifests on Earth.
Exactly. And
the tropical are more psychological, aren't they? That's how they're described, as more psychological, influencing the character, but it's actually the sidereal are the ones that indicate events, visible events, just like the stars are visible.
Exactly.
I know you don't care about tropical.
No, I care, of course. But I mostly use the ancient way.
Yeah, no.
Saturn. Let's just explain. Saturn is in Sagittarius with the calculations of Western astrology, but Sagittarius is a projection on the equatorial plane and not the real constellation Sagittarius in this case.
Yeah, it's determined by the solstices and equinoxes, actually, the tropical, by the seasons, kind of.
Yes, it's a more reflection, and it's a time frame for the Earth, more like this. But the real constellation, Sagittarius, Saturn will be entering between 7th of February and someday in June, and later constantly in around, I think, the middle of November.
Do you know which countries are ruled by the Sagittarius? Because they'll be having it a bit more. Isn't the States?
I know one of the countries. One of the countries, according to an important astrologer from the antiquity, his name is Ptolemy. So one of the countries ruled by Sagittarius, this is Spain.
Ooh, so recession coming to Spain. No, shouldn't laugh. Please stop.
Yes, yes, Saturn will be influencing Spain in the next 2 years, but also Sagittarius is connected a lot with Western Europe. As one of the signs of the fire triplicity. The same author says that the fire triplicity is connected with the Western world. So, as a whole, not only Spain, but also other countries in Western Europe and in the West as a whole will feel the presence of Saturn. And Saturn in Sagittarius, it will give more justice. It will give moral conflicts, uh, conflicts over different laws and rules. And as a whole, the results of everything that he brings must be positive, because Saturn is in the sign of Jupiter, and that is how the ancient texts describe Saturn in a sign of Jupiter. As a result, he is a positive. It can be difficulties, but the result is good.
Do you think like there will be changes in the laws, basically in constitutions, because Jupiter at Sagittarius rules the laws, which might be more constructive in the long term, basically?
Of course, there will be.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to change your constitution, the next 2.5 years is the time. Saturn is going into Sagittarius in January. The constellation.
Yes, I think that one of the things that Trump wants to make is such changes.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. But it's also, other countries as well. And according to Western astrology, America is ruled by Sagittarius, and so is Australia.
Okay. But these are different systems, and I don't want to mess them.
Well, yeah, but Ptolemy couldn't tell what was.
Yes, and the chart of USA connected with Sagittarius, I think that there is another more relevant chart, and there the situation is different, and Sagittarius is not so much involved.
Okay.
Yes, it's a chart that where, according to ancient astrology rules, the rising sign is Taurus, and the sun is in Gemini.
Okay. Not Cancer.
So from this, I can say that later, when Saturn will be making an opposition to the sun of USA, which is posited in the second house, so some effects on the debts connected with the country are expected.
That's towards 2018.
Yes.
Okay, so
whatever the path to this point will be this year.
The what? The path.
Everything that will lead to such results will be happening this year.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so there will be changes.
Yes, obviously.
Well, I guess if that's everything, I can let you go to sleep.
Okay, thank you. I hope it was interesting for you all. I wish you to have an excellent year, everyone.
It's going to be better, we said, than 2016.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much for taking from your time so late at night, instead of celebrating somewhere, to be with us and enlighten us, Trifon. Thank you for joining us. And guys, if you're looking for some new courses that Trifon, if you want Trifon to teach, give us ideas. So we can do a webinar with Trifon where he teaches you, just like the webinar on the fixed stars that he did. People love it, and I learned so much from it. What else would you like to learn from Trifon? Give us ideas. Write to us, and we'll create webinars. If you want Trifon to be very accessible, very affordable, we don't charge thousands of dollars. We charge $50, $60, $70 for amazing information. And give us ideas, and maybe 2017 we'll do a tour together, or like a conference together live with Trifon, with Marina, with a few other amazing astrologers, where you can just come and gorge on astrology. We'll try to figure this out, guys, as we go. But if you like the idea, write to us. If you think you can afford, and you'll come to see us, let us know, and we'll do a tour in the States or something like that, or just a webinar somewhere, not webinar, seminar for a weekend, just focus on astrology, ancient astrology, modern astrology. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back again with Trifon next month to speak about February. And let's looking forward to some of your predictions coming, not all, because some of them are scary. But yeah, every time you guess things right, I'm like, yes. Astrology works. So thank you so much. Happy New Year again. And guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.